Ravens Wrap is sponsored by Bud Light, jctickets.net, Geico Insurance, Dunaway Furniture, Ocean City Golf Club, RussellStreetReport.com, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Holiday Inn Express, BuyAToyota.com, your official site for Toyota deals. The original Green Turtle, hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
Yeah. And welcome back in. It's more of the original Green Turtles Ravens Wrap show here on Comcast Beach TV. And now this season also on TV on 47 ABC WMDT, which is expanding our reach on the Delmarva Peninsula. And we're proud to have that most certainly. Also back for another year on 93.5 The Beach, the rock station and the strongest signal Ravens affiliate on the peninsula. Coming up Sunday night, 8:30, the Ravens and the Steelers do battle at Heinz Field. Pregame show at 8 o'clock. Our radio show airs at 11 a.m. Don't forget on TV, or 7:30 Saturday night on WMBT, and then Sunday at noon. And all throughout Thursday through Sunday on Comcast Beach TV. They have us all over the place, which is a great thing. We air quite a bit. Hey, don't forget, we want to see Ravens fans all across the peninsula down here. Ravensers 44 comes out and supports us every week, and we're most certainly happy and appreciative of that. We want to see all Ravens fans down at the Ravens Room. We've got ticket giveaways, Bud Light specials, hotel prize packages as well. And we've got our next ticket drawing coming up November 5th for the Tennessee Titan game. So come on down. We want to see you. We'll give you tickets and give you a chance at winning tickets to see the Ravens play Tennessee or whoever else that's left this year. jctickets.net provides that. Mike Bradley, Tony Lombardi, Bucksy, Steve Slaughter joining us on this segment. Welcome, Steve.
Steve, coming on up.
Guys, just a little bit more in recapping the loss 27-24 to the Bengals, and then we'll move on to the Steelers game. We were starting to wrap up, Tony, and talk about what happened in the passing game. Now, in terms of balance, for the most part, I mean, it was 36, I believe there's 8 more passes, that is, 34 to 28. I'm sorry, 6 more passes than runs. So it was pretty balanced, and we ran the ball very effectively. I mean, Forsett, 17 for 68, that's a 4-yard average. Taliaferro, 7 of 27, 3.9, close enough. What happened in the passing game, though, and why weren't we successful? Torrey Smith and Steve Smith both were shut down.
I think Torrey, if you look, I looked at his numbers going back to his rookie season, and he was climbing each season until this year. Now, you would think that getting involved in a Gary Kubiak offense, that those numbers would increase. That hasn't happened. And I think that if you look at the number of targets compared to the completions, it's less than half. Up through the Cincinnati game, 42 targets to Torrey Smith, 18 completions. That's not a good percentage for a guy who's trying to become a number 1 receiver. I don't think he's going to be there. He's very one-dimensional, and I think the league has caught on to him, and he hasn't caught on to Gary Kubiak's offense. So that's one problem. You've got double-down coverage on Steve Smith. You've got an inexperienced tight end. So when you put it all together, you don't have a lot of guys that are open. And I think that was part of the problem, and that's why I said before the break that I think that what the Ravens needed to do was to get some stacks. The one guy that was getting open was Michael Campanaro.
Yeah, bunch formations.
Bunch formations and stacks, and I think that would have helped loosen things up because they were playing just a tight cover 2 and just press coverage on the corners, and I think that's why they couldn't get loose. And Torrey Smith does a poor job, I think, of fighting off press coverage, and I think that's why Joe Flacco stood back there a lot of times with time to throw with no one to throw to.
And Steve, let's take a look at the tight end position. Crockett Gilmore did a good job, couple of catches. He's also a very good blocking tight end. But without Dennis Pitta, without Owen Daniels this week as well, those guys take away some coverage to help Steve Smith and Torrey Smith get open, and, well, they weren't there Sunday.
Now, my buddies that emailed me from Annapolis, and they're like, oh, we're really going to miss Owen Daniels. And I was just, honestly, I was like you, Tony. I thought we were going to win this game by 2 touchdowns. I really didn't see it. We were coming in so hot. But when you looked at the game and you saw how we didn't take advantage of the middle of the field, and Crockett Gilmore is a good tight end, and he had a great sophomore year in college where he had 1,200 yards. But since then, he's really been a blocking tight end, and we really missed having Owen Daniels there. And having Campanaro went in the first half, he was filling that void a little bit, but then he ended up getting banged up. But that was an area that we really didn't take advantage of.
Yeah. There was one other thing too that I wanted to mention with the passing game. Sure. If you think back to the years when Derek Mason and Joe Flacco played together, what was the route that they used to run and was almost unstoppable when Joe Flacco delivered the ball all the time?
The out route.
The out route. Do we ever see that anymore?
Nope.
What was the route that they started to develop with Torrey Smith, I believe, in his second season, the back shoulder throw? Do we ever see that anymore? Sometimes those are plays where you don't have to be that open you could throw them on time, and you could still have productivity in the passing game. They're not doing those things right now.
And I question it too. I mean, last year we did see under Jim Caldwell, Torrey Smith run some slants, run some drags across the field. Really haven't seen that. I thought with the West Coast offense we would have seen that with Torrey Smith.
I agree. Yeah.
We haven't. I wanted, because we had an audience question about the Ravens going for it on that first drive on 4th down, and the throw to Kamar Aiken. He came in motion, and the play was there. Now you could argue Kamar needed to make the catch, maybe dive a little bit more. You could argue maybe the throw from Flacco was a little bit beyond his reach. But bottom line, though, is it's easy to second guess. The play was there. Kubiak called a good play. They didn't execute. As they say, coaches have all the power, but at the end of the day, it's the players that have to execute on the field, and they simply didn't. I didn't necessarily have a problem with that. On the road, you have a drive down the field. You're that close. I don't have a problem with us trying to get a touchdown there, because those are not easy to come by in divisional games on the road.
I'm one that believes that you should take the points on the road, but I do understand John Harbaugh's philosophy, which is this, that if I fail on the 1 yard line, I now have you pinned back, and if I can get field position back from you on the ensuing set of downs on defense, I can kick the field goal, which is exactly what happened. So it's hard to argue with that, but at the same time, the play selection wasn't crazy about. I think that that's one of those situations where the Ravens need to just, on the road, take the wind out of their sails, and I don't think you do that with a cute little pass. I think you do that with a power run, and I think you saw later on in the game that they could run the ball in the red zone with 2 Taliaferro touchdown runs. But I agree with you too, Mike, that the play was there, they didn't execute it.
Yeah, if it was a poorly called play, then I'd be with you a little bit more. Steve, your thoughts on that, and then we'll get Buxy's thoughts, because divisional games on the road, we're both in the same boat there.
There's an old coaching adage: it's not your X's and O's, it's your Tommies and Joes. You know, there's a reason your number 6 wide receiver was open there, and while he was on the market this summer, he couldn't do the job. You know, he had to come up with that catch, and he didn't. And when you're putting your number 6 wide receiver in a position to make that catch, you're asking for trouble. You know, I was like you, Tony. I thought they should have run the ball. And Taliaferro now down the goal line, I mean, he is dangerous. I mean, that guy, being he's number 34, but he reminds me an awful lot of Herschel Walker. I mean, you look at him, and when he's on the run, he's a big boy, and he's going to be doing good things for us for many years to come.
Steve, you bring up a good point. I would say this, though, to be fair to Aiken, he has made several catches this year so far. I think he's earned the confidence in the team. But, Buxy, your thoughts if the Steelers are on the road in that similar position, that close, they drive down the field, they've got the momentum. Boy, 7 just to me, that's a lot more than 3 there.
Harbaugh wanted to take 60,000 people out of that game. He wanted to get it over with right there. And instead, he let 60,000 people back into the game, if that makes any sense. The fans were all over it after that.
Do you go for it there if you're the head coach?
I do.
Okay.
Why not? Sorry, Tom. I know you went to 3.
I'm with you. I would have gone for
you're
it.
right there.
Yeah.
But it killed me, because he came out and said in a press conference, you know, maybe I do go for it too much, okay, you know, and in the future I'm going to really have to look at that, and I think in a similar situation I'll kick the field goal. Well, then you have a similar situation and he doesn't kick the field goal. You know, I think you had to get some points there, and to come up empty, you know, and with the way things go with Sanu tipping the ball to himself, you know, there's just a couple of bad breaks, and that's what makes football such a great game.
In all the losses we've had this year, you know, Cincinnati at the beginning of the year, the Indianapolis, we dig ourselves a little bit of a hole, then we play well, maybe we get the lead back, but then at the end we give it up. And to take a 24-20 lead, Tony, the way we did off the field goal, and then for the defense, though, to give it up the way they did, you can't do that. You can't do that there. I mean, the defense, after getting a 4-point lead at that point, and they had momentum, and give credit, Matt Elam, despite a bad game, he made a strip. Haloti Ngata made a great play, a strip of Andy Dalton. They ended up with an interception at one point there. The defense did make some plays there, but you can't give up a touchdown like that right after you score a field goal and you're up.
It's been a pattern, really.
It's like last year.
Yeah, just like last year. And sometimes last year, the defense made a couple plays to get them back in it. The offense took advantage of the plays that were afforded to them by the defense. And then when they got the lead, the defense gave it up. It happened to Cincinnati the first game when they got the A.J. Green connection, when God knows why Shockey Brown's covering A.J. Green, so they lost that game. And then this game, Sanu, everyone knew Sanu was going to get the ball 3rd and 10. He was their primary weapon the whole game. And why they don't have Webb on him, that's another question. You know, why not put Webb, your best guy, on their best guy in a key situation? 3rd and 10, 3:30 left to go in the game. On their own 20-yard line, up 24-20, that game's on ice. It should have been on ice.
Although, let's not forget, Andy Dalton overthrew Greg Little, who ran a double move on Webb and burned him, and he overthrew him. We got fortunate there that they didn't have another touchdown in the game. Then you're talking about a 10-point game, not a 3-point game. Maybe we're talking about this game a little bit differently then.
I think it's like Bugs said. I mean, our front seven is so dominant. And then you look at the secondary, and you're like, okay, one of these groups is not like the other one. I mean, they're just like not even close to linebackers or the defensive line. And I'm sure
that's amazing how different your second string, third string is compared to that first guy, that great athlete you have. And that's what your secondary is missing right now.
Well, that's going to be a point of contention as we switch gears and get into the Steelers game. Bucksy, why don't you start giving us a brief overview of the team? A couple of years out of the playoffs, that's not very Steeler-esque. We're not used to that.
No, the last 2 weeks, though, we're starting to see it. And Tony was saying off air how they came back to life that last 3 minutes of the first half against Houston. I'll be honest, I was watching that game, and I'm throwing things and saying, what the heck? But they turned it around. They look good. But you know what? They should have put Indianapolis out last week. It should have been done, and they let them back in the game a lot closer than the final score.
It's a good point.
So we'll see what happens. It's a different offense. It's a different defense. It's a different league, actually. It's a pass-happy league, and the Steelers are just getting acclimated to that. And they're getting acclimated to their defense, though.
I was going to say, your defense sustained 3 major injuries we'll talk about, I believe, in that Carolina game that, you guys are having to deal with as well. When you imagine the Ravens had 3 starters on defense out, and, well, we're kind of getting there now with Jimmy Smith. And Chris Canty's been out, although we've had depth there to make up for him. But when you have 3 major starters out the way you guys have, that's huge, and we're going to talk about that coming up. It is Steelers Week, and more of the Ravens Wrap Show here to come, coming to you from the Blue Ox Bar and Grill in the Ravens Room, 127th Street and Coastal Highway in Ocean City. We're back with more Mike Bradley, Tony Lombardi, Bucksy, and Steve Slaza here from the Ravens Room. It is Comcast Beach TV, also ABC 47 and 93.5 The Beach. We're back next. Keep it here.
In April 1959, Art Wall won the Masters, edging out Carey Middlecoff and Arnold Palmer by finishing birdie, 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 par birdie. 1 month later, Ocean City Golf Club celebrated the opening of their first 18 holes. That course has been transformed now into one of the most scenic golf layouts on the East Coast. Come experience 36 of the most beautiful and challenging holes you'll find anywhere. Ocean City Golf Club in Ocean City, Maryland.
Come see us at the Blue Ox.
Welcome to the Comfort Inn Gold Coast. Conveniently located just 1 block from the beach and adjacent to shopping at the Gold Coast Mall and the movie theater. Newly renovated and open year-round with a marvelous bayfront view. Visit us on the web at comfortgoldcoast.com and see our hot deals and great golf packages, or simply call our direct reservation line to plan your stay.